Okay, welcome to the notes for Chapter 1, Section 7. We're going to be looking at some formulas today. We're going to look at midpoint, we're going to look at distance, and we'll even talk about slope a little bit as we do that. So let's take a look here. On the number line, the coordinate of the midpoint is the blank of the coordinates of the endpoints. Okay, the coordinate of the midpoint is the blank of the coordinate of the endpoints. Think about what middle means. And in algebra, you guys, we talked a lot about how middle was like an average. So that's all this is. The midpoint is the average of the coordinates of the endpoints. So that's what we do. Okay, we're going to literally take the average. Okay, so here in this box, we're going to put the actual formula for the midpoint. So what that is we're going to take the two x coordinates, add those, and divide them by 2, and that will give us our x. And then the two y's, add those, divide by 2. And so the formula for midpoint is an actual point. Big mistake here that we get is that students don't write it out. It is a point, guys. Okay, so you can't have the midpoint be like 7. That doesn't make any sense. If I ask you what's the, what city is in between Manassas and Washington, D.C., and you say 49, like that doesn't make any sense. You need to give me a point. A point is a location, all right? In the coordinate plane, the coordinates of the midpoint are the blank of the x coordinates and the coordinates of the blank of the y coordinates of the endpoint. So again, this is just average. The coordinates of the midpoint are the average of the x coordinates and the average of the y coordinates, okay? Average, average, average. Here on this one, given AB, where A is x1 and B is x2, y2, or sorry, A is x1, y1, the coordinates of the midpoint are, and again, we're taking the average, all right? Taking the average. x1 plus, over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. All right. So here's an example. AB has endpoints at -4 and 9. What is the coordinate of its midpoint? So if we were just finding the midpoint on the number line, all you really have to do is just add the just find the average of the two numbers that we're given. So that would be -4 plus 9 over 2, right? So, which is 5/2, which is 2.5, which is 2.5. Any of those are acceptable answers. Okay, easy enough. Example 2. Here we have actually on the coordinate plane. So this is where we're going to take the average of the x's. That's 7 plus 2 divided by 2, and that's 4.5. And 5 plus -4, these are the x's. And then the y's, 5 plus -4 over 2, and that equals 0.5. And so my answer is, because we're looking for the midpoint, and I can't stress that enough, point, okay? The answer is 4.5, 0.5. In parentheses, it is a point, okay? Example 3. The midpoint of CD, which they're telling us it's M, is -2, 1. One endpoint is -5, 7. What are the coordinates of the other point D? All right. I think using the formula here doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think thinking of this, if we can understand what a midpoint is, that it's in the middle of the segment, it's much easier to think of it like this. From C, the endpoints are C and D, so we're looking for D. That's what we don't know. All right. From -5 to -2, how far did we go? Okay, on the number line, how far from -5? Did we go up or down, and how far? Well, from -5 to -2, we go up on the number line. To the right, we go 3. So then that's to the middle. So just go 3 more, and that gives us 1. For the y value, we have 7, okay? And so we're going from 7 here to 1. Well, how far is it from 7 to 1? Well, it's down, negative. It's down to the left on the number line. Left 6 to the middle. So go 6 more. And from 1, 6 to the left is -5. Okay? I can show you that, or your teacher can show you that as a formula, but really thinking of it as having a concept that the midpoint is the average and that's the middle number, and then going the same distance on both sides is much, much easier. Let's take a look at the distance formula. The distance between 2 points on the number line, or sorry, between 2 points on a coordinate plane. We have 2 points. A is x1, y1, and B is x2, y2. Okay? The distance formula is, it's the difference between the x's squared plus the difference between the y's squared, and it's the square root of their sum. Okay? So it's the square root of all that. The distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem. We get this because of the Pythagorean theorem. If we look at this side squared plus this side squared equals this side squared, and that's how we get the distance formula, or we get the distance formula from the Pythagorean theorem, which you guys know and have seen before. So let's take a look real simple. What is the distance between U and V round to the nearest tenth? Example 2 is what is the distance between S and R round to the nearest tenth? And then example 3. Go ahead and pause the video right here. Try these 3 on your own, and then we will check them. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, let's see how you did. We're going to, first thing, the setup. So, again, the distance formula, let's write that at the top of this page so everybody knows we're working from the same thing. The distance equals the square root of the difference between the x's squared plus the difference between the y's squared. Okay, and the 1 and the 2 at the bottom, that's just like the first y and the second y, and the first x and the second x. It doesn't really matter, but, you know, some of you like little numbers because you're not very tall. Alright, so let's look. Here's the setup for the first one, okay? -7 minus 4, and that's squared, plus 5 minus -3 squared, and it's all under a radical. So then we start doing some math. So -7 minus 4 is -11. And -11 squared is 121. 5 minus -3 is 8, and 8 squared is 64. We add those together, we get the square root of 185, and that is 13.6. Alright, see how you did on the second one. We have -2 minus 3, 14 minus -1, we get 25, 225, square root of 250 is 15.8. And the last one, the same x value gives us 2 minus 2, which is 0. And then we just have 6. We have 36. Let's fix that real quick. Okay, that's fixed. So we have 0 plus 36, and then obviously that is the square root of 36, which is then 6. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. So there's those 3. If you got stuck on those, or you have questions about those, just let me know, and we'll figure those out together. Review of how to find the slope of a line. This is something that, you know, you get hammered about in Algebra 1 over and over and over. Rise over run, change in y over change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or your teacher may have even, if you have an awesome teacher like me, may have even showed you delta y over delta x, delta being the Greek letter that means change. Rise rhymes with y's, so that's another good way to remember that the y's go on top. So it's just the difference between the y's over difference between the x's. I also like to show my Algebra 1 students that sometimes a sketch helps. So if we look at example 1, 3, -2 is somewhere down here. I don't know if it's exactly right there, but it's somewhere down there. 9, +2 is somewhere up over here. So just by doing that, what I've done is I've given myself an idea of what this line looks like. So I know that it's something like that-ish, or that, or something. But I know that it's going up, okay? I know that it's going up, and because I know that it's up, I know the slope is positive. All right? So now all I have to do is, let's see, the difference between the y's. How far from -2 to 2 on the number line? Well, that's 4. M is the number we use for slope. How far from 3 to 9 on the number line? Well, that's 6. And again, we know it's going up, so I know it's positive, and then that reduces to 2/3. I always reduce. You don't have to ask your teacher, should I reduce this? Yeah, you should reduce it. So you don't have to ask your parents in the morning, hey, should I put clothes on before school? Yeah, you should put clothes on. You reduce. We wear pants. That's just the way it goes now. All right, example 2, go ahead and pause. Oh, another way we can find the slope is just from a picture. So just pick any 2 points. I like that one, and I think I like that one. All right? I might like this other one over here, but I don't know yet because it's not official, because it's not online. Once it's for real on Facebook or Twitter, then it's real. So anyway, down 4 over 2. So the rise is -4 for down, and then to the right is +2. That's going to reduce to -2. Always reduce, always reduce. Always wear pants in public. When is the slope of the line 0? 0. Some of you guys know like this voodoo witchcraft thing called Hooyvux. Some of you just were, you were beaten into a pulp by your teachers about learning this. The slope of a line with 0 is a horizontal line, okay? Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. When is the slope of the line undefined? Well, it's undefined when it's vertical, okay? So vertical lines, slope of undefined. Horizontal lines, slope of 0. That's it for the notes. I've had tons of fun. See you soon. Bye.